Three, two, one, and action. Hey, everybody, it's the Sport Guy Austin here, joined on our fourth episode of the introductory series by Clint Cornett, one of my good friends from high school. Clint, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people like a gentleman?
All right. Thank you very much, Austin. Hi, everyone. Citations. My name is Clint Cornett. I lived in the same area where Austin lived at for most of my life, bounced around Austin and whatnot. Now I am a resident of Los Angeles, California. Been here since August, and yeah, I'm loving it. Doing any type of riding I can do out here, whether it be sports or etc. And yeah, just living the dream by the ocean. Life is good.
Yeah, they said go west, young man, and you followed that advice. I'm a bit jealous, honestly, that you get to be out there in sunny California.
Go the way of the pioneer, baby. Can't go
I
wrong.
have I've thought about moving and getting out of Austin, but when your name is Austin Travis Anderson, you kind of just have to stay. I think I don't think you're really meant to go anywhere else.
Yeah, that makes sense. If your name was Memphis, I don't think you could leave Memphis. It wouldn't make sense otherwise.
Luckily, my name's not Memphis, but I did get. Interestingly enough, I wasn't always Austin Travis Anderson. When I was first born, there's actually a few baby pictures of me. I had my dad's name, Jeffrey Klon Anderson. I was going to be JC Jr., if you can believe it. I think I won on that one overall. I think I did win on that one overall, but I was for a minute there going to be a JC Jr. So.
I was going to be the third. My dad was
yeah?
a junior, and he was going to name me Ford Darewood Cornett the third. And that, I love my dad, but that's an awful name, and I'm so glad he went with Clint instead of that. And shout out to Dad.
Yeah, right on. And yeah, I mean, I guess Clint, what would you say you do here? What's going to be kind of like your expertise? Where you're going to be kind of leading the audience?
I'm going to give you the lowdown on everything San Antonio Spurs. Definitely help out in the Dallas Cowboys department.
We them boys.
We them boys. How about them boys? 8-8, still strong, killing it. And then I also enjoy entertainment. I live right in it, so everything movies and gambling. That's my forte. I'm ready to bring it.
Yeah, nice. And favorite sports team? You pretty well covered it there. Baseball wise, do you have a preference there? Are you getting sucked in by the Dodgers? I mean, they're really good.
That's what everybody asks, why I have a Texas Rangers hat on and not a Dodgers hat. I ain't no bandwagon fan. All right, my team, the Texas Rangers, they suck, but I'm going to stick with it. That's what you got to do, unfortunately.
That is a true fan. I don't think they'll ever win it. I just, they had that 2-year bit where they went, and I think there's a key error in the outfield in one of the late innings, if I remember correctly.
Nelson Cruz. Fat Nelson Cruz.
He's really good at hitting, not so great at catching, it appears.
No, or doing like a basic run after the ball. You make one little leap, and when you win a World Series, just one little leap. It's like jumping over a pillow. That kind of distance, couldn't do it. So they probably won't win, not anytime soon, at least.
They got a new stadium, right? They got a new stadium, so maybe that's gonna like spark change, but I just don't see it.
If anything, it's going to cause management to go out and spend money to kind of increase the payroll a bit, because there's only one way you can, fill up a stadium, even if it's a new one, and that's by having a talented team. I mean, if the team's terrible, you saw what happened in Miami. They built a brand new stadium. The team was very good. Sales were very low, and they had to cut payroll and everything. So as long as they're spending money and trying to remain competitive, it'll be fine. I mean, they're not expecting to win the World Series anytime soon anyway. So just stay competitive. which is
Right.
that's the best we can ask for right now. Don't suck. Just don't suck.
Yeah, and that division is pretty tough too. I mean, I used to be a pretty big baseball nerd. Played fantasy baseball. Then the guys that I played with, I mean, to their credit, I was a pretty inactive owner, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I wasn't keeping up with things, and they kicked me out of the league, and I decided to never go back to baseball. I kind of fell out of love with the sport. I could get into like a random game in April, but 162 of them, and no, I'm gonna just better things to do with my time than try to watch these dudes hit a ball. Although hitting a ball is the most hardest thing that you can do. I remember whenever I was in league, and once they started throwing curveballs and the pitchers could make the ball like move like that, I was like, I'm done. I could barely
Oh
hit it when it
man.
was coming out. I could barely hit it when it was coming to me straight on. Now it's coming to me. It's got these crazy curves. No, thank you. I'm done.
I
Hang up,
I I
hang up
uh
the bat.
I hung up my cleats before pitchers ever had the chance to do anything with the ball outside of a fastball, and I was still
Mm-hmm.
terrible. So
Mm-hmm.
that was never going to work out for me. I was a pretty good
Mm-hmm.
fielder. I mean, I
Yeah.
looked pretty good out there, but I couldn't hit to save my life.
Were
But
you
I
the
second
right fielder?
second base, baby.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you're in there. You're in the mix.
Yeah, yeah. I could actually turn two. I dived at balls. I could like fill
Nice.
grounders with my bare hand, and that would build a little bit of confidence. And I get up to the plate and just absolutely suck. It was whenever the outfielders kind of sneak in,
Mm-hmm.
everyone's kind of like creeping closer to the plate. Easy out. That was me.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And then I know you said you had some expertise there that you're going to share with us. Have you given any thought to what you're going to name this show, the podcast?
I think my message would be Clint's Corner. Nice
Clint's
and
Corner. That's
easy.
yeah.
Alliteration rolls off the
Uh
tongue.
huh.
You can
It
just
does.
stamp
It
that.
does.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure you're not going to be, recruiting ladies of the night. Start some sort of escort service or anything.
That wasn't the plan, but capitalism, if you don't really have any
Mm-hmm.
regulations on it, it could go any number of ways. So we'll
Right
see what
on.
happens. Never say
Right
no.
on. Yeah, that's much more creative than the show I'm going to put out, which is the Austin Travis Anderson show. I just went with the basic name of mine, so my name. So kind of a little vain, but I like it. I was noticing I was looking at the team. The team's filling out pretty good. I had an original goal of how many people I wanted to get on the roster, and
Mm-hmm.
we've surpassed that. We've surpassed that already. And we've
Nice.
only just begun. So I think it's just going to be going up from here. But
Oh
um,
yeah.
as far as entertainment goes, TV and movies, anything really stand out for you as a kid, either or growing up, or even now, TV or movie wise?
Growing up, you kind of are just allowed to experience what your parents experience and really have control outside of their grasp. So whatever my dad was watching at the time, that's what I had to enjoy watching. Which is lucky. So he really enjoyed Seinfeld. So we watched a ton of Seinfeld. I think that kind of fueled my comedic side in a way, because my
Mm-hmm.
family had always been funny. The way that we interact with each other is just trying to make the other person laugh, or outdo the other person, and see who can make the other person laugh the hardest. So Seinfeld was a revelation for us. So that kind of like sparked our creative and comedic sides. And I tried to get into MASH. That was my dad's second favorite show. Remember MASH? That
Oh, I know MASH.
I man, I oh my God, that is not. I didn't like it at all. It's not a funny show. It was depressing. It was sad. It wasn't very funny. My dad was. He tried so hard to get me into it. No, and it just gave me like flashbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I fell asleep
Ugh.
to many a MASH episode. I would fall asleep to those.
God, you and
They
me
would come
both.
on late night. They would come on late
Yeah.
night, and I would fall asleep to those
Oh
guys.
yeah.
What
You
was it?
and
I
me
know the
both.
woman's name was Hot Lips. There was a Hawkeye. What was the main
Yeah.
guy's name?
Oh my God. Oh, I'm searching. I'm grasping. I can't remember. I haven't had to
I'm
think
blanking
of
out.
these names in
I'm
like
blanking out on it.
decades.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
relevant. They're all gone.
Radar, obviously. Radar was
Yeah.
another big one. But yeah, that was a. I mean, I actually I am on the opposite side. I did like that show. I found humor in it.
Man, props to
So
you. I just couldn't do it.
yeah. Hmm.
But the shows like today that I like, I mean, obviously, as far as drama goes, the big granddaddy of them are Sopranos. I mean, that pretty much kick-started golden age of television we see today, where you can make movie atmospheric TV, and like
Hmm.
you can spend the same amount on resources for television with movies, and Sopranos prove that. So pretty much everything that HBO produced and they're on, and then eventually, Netflix and all the cable channels. I mean, the best television that's been made ever probably is just within the past 20 years. If you ask me, between Sopranos, The Wire, Breaking Bad, Mad Men, all of that just within the past 20 years. So it's pretty incredible. So that's the television that I enjoy for sure.
I mean, you had to be a Thrones fan if you're watching all those HBO shows, right? You gotta
Oh,
love them.
well, if only this podcast was around during the last run. Do you know
Hmm.
like how many rants? Like probably all of us. I'm assuming that everybody's a Thrones fan. Can you imagine just how many rants we would have gone on about this? These podcasts would be like 3 hours of just us taking dumps on this show, or the last season of it, for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get into that vehement mode on really any entertainment. I just take the show creators and the show for what it is, and I think they thought they were doing the best that they could, and they put it out there. Didn't I didn't have that strong feeling of like, oh, they are killing the show or anything like that. I'd say the only show that really tied a bow around itself to like a really to almost like a too much was Breaking Bad. The way they wrapped Breaking
Mm-hmm.
Bad up, they did that like as about as good as you could, and it was almost too good, like come on, this is really how I tried to go back and watch Breaking Bad. When I first got
Yeah.
to Breaking Bad, it was like crystal meth. When I first got to Breaking Bad, I found it on Netflix, and I just
Yeah, me
binged
too.
through like two or three seasons in like a night or something, just going crazy.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, I've stepped away from it for a good while. Let's go revisit it again. And I got maybe 5 or 6 episodes in, and Walt did something ridiculous, and I was like, oh yeah, Walt's like basically an invincible like force that nothing can stop him, and he's just like this schlub. I was like, I'm out. I couldn't watch it anymore. I had to turn it off. It was if you remember, it was a scene where Jesse was on the corner about to get gunned down, and Walt comes
Oh
flying in,
yeah, with that
smashes him.
Pontiac Aztec.
Yeah, and like,
What a great scene! Are you kidding me?
no, that was terrible. It was like, wait,
No
I mean,
way.
he's just gonna run these guys over, and no one's gonna see, or he's not gonna have any repercussions. No, I'm out. I ejected at that point.
Oh man, I watched that live. Because I caught up with Breaking Bad through Netflix. So I was able to
Hmm.
catch like starting with season 3, I think it was live on AMC, and I remember watching it and going, "Oh my god, I am so in on this show right now." I think those are like the exact words that are going through my head. Like, yes, I want more of this. But that I can go back and watch different episodes of Breaking Bad. I'm assuming that everyone's probably seen it, so we can say whatever we want to, spoilers wise. But
Oh, listen. I mean, if you haven't, and you've made it this far, you're not going to, in my opinion. Like You
Yeah.
have had your chances. You have had your chances to watch this show.
Yeah.
What about the spinoff? Have you been enjoying the spinoff? Better Call Saul. Have you ever watched that one?
Hey, Better Call Saul is just as good as the first 3 seasons of Breaking Bad, at least. Like, that's the
Oh
floor.
yeah,
It's so
you
well
like it.
done. Oh, it's
Yeah, I do too.
incredible. Yeah. And
I I
now
like.
that his brother is, spoilers, but now that his brother's kind of not a plot line on the show anymore, and it's just a relief, because now you can put all the focus on Jimmy and, you know, his eventual downturn or downfall and all this. You don't have to focus on the litigation and the lawyering and this and that with his brother. I never got
Hmm.
into that part of the show. I'm all in on Jimmy now. I like
Oh,
it's amazing.
you gotta have Slippin' Jimmy. You gotta have Slippin' Jimmy
Oh, you got
all
it.
the time, doing all of the crazy things that he does. And the best part, I know you said you didn't really get into the court drama, but whenever he gives Chuck the okey doke, I mean, come on, the okey doke that he gives Chuck, where he puts the battery on him and he doesn't even feel it. He's like, oh yeah, you
Oh,
had
that
that
was
battery on
cool.
you this whole time. And
Right.
that was like Perry Mason level, you know.
I no,
Mhm.
that was cool, because that's exactly what Jimmy does. He outmaneuvers and outthinks the opposition, but sometimes to not quite criminal, but he's definitely gone there. But a little on the edges. But now the show can be solely that. I don't have to worry about him breaking into a dumpster to steal documents, or that wasn't interesting to me. But yeah, the show hopefully it sticks the landing, because it's got a lot riding on it as far as the history of where it came from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, obviously how they're going to wrap it up or how many more seasons they're going to do of it. But it does, I mean, it seems like there'll be a moment almost where like he meets Walt and then that's kind of like maybe the end of it or something
Mm-hmm.
like, something like that. I don't really know. Obviously, it's cool having Mike around. Old freaky Mike is creeping people out and,
I would I
um,
would I would do prison time for Mike. I I love that man like a family member. He's the best.
And that was another thing that disappointed me too about the movie, or not the movie, uh, the show Breaking Bad. There was that Walt just kills him so easily. It was like he just walks in and shoots him. Like like this guy's not gonna be ready for you to come. That part again. It was like no way. Walt's gonna kill Mike? No, Walt's a schlub.
That was always gonna happen. There was no way Mike was gonna leave this show alive. There's no way. Like, you knew he was going to die. You didn't know how, you didn't know when, but you knew there was no way he was going to cross up Walt and get away with it, because nobody who had done that after that point had gotten away with it. So, R.I.P. Rest in power, Mike. I love you.
Mm. And then shifting over to the big screen. Um, any real powerful movies catch you and like been influential? I know you said being out there in the entertainment hub, maybe you're getting immersed to some stuff that you wouldn't otherwise see in Liberty Hill. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's putting it very lightly. The Liberty Hill cinema
Hmm.
experience is probably a little different here.
Hmm.
The beauty of Los Angeles and New York, to the same extent, is that movies, films like of a particular style, like a smaller film or something that is like a project or something from like a larger director of sorts, they will release movies a month in advance in LA or New York before it ever hits theaters nationwide. So every movie that's come out that's been, let's say, like an Oscar contender, I've seen out here before anybody else has seen out there in the rest of America. So I saw Marriage Story, Irishman, Parasite, 1917. What's the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So I saw all of those movies before they ever came out, and which is good, because I can actually have an opinion on it before the discourse basically takes over the internet, where you don't really have an opinion that's not in some way tainted by the public discourse.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I saw Parasite, for example, I understand you don't like that movie very much. Crazy, but okay, each their own. I saw it without any expectation. I hadn't heard a single word on the synopsis or the story at large, and it just blew me away. It took me to places I had never been to, and it made me think about, the class structure that we have in society today. And there were so many twists and turns that, like, I never knew what to expect next. And it was a breath of fresh air that it was all done, by a Korean artist with other Korean artists. A lot of the times Americans kind of turn the other way when it comes to things that are not American, things we're not familiar or comfortable with. So it was just a great big breath of fresh air, that movie, and I think it deserves every award it's been nominated for that it won't get.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have those types of feelings. I just felt disturbed by the movie, and I was just like, what is happening? Why is this happening? Why does everybody like it? 'Cause everybody, I mean, it's almost universal. Everybody like seems to be on that same page as
Yeah,
you, and I was just sitting there like, it's gruesome and it's kind of terrible and like this is
it's
what the one thing I kind of got was I don't know if you remember this movie. I don't think many people do, but People Under the Stairs.
yeah,
I think it's
yeah,
a Wes Craven movie.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
movie. That's the movie that came to mind when I was watching this, and I was just like,
That
"What
makes
is?"
that makes sense. I can see that.
I was,
But that's
yeah, yeah.
but that's also something that you would only understand if you've seen the movie, if you've seen
Hmm.
Parasite. So
Oh
us
yeah.
saying, yeah,
Hmm.
without saying anything else about the movie. But
Yeah.
hey, that to each their own, brother. I thought it was
Yeah.
great.
The guys I was talking to yesterday seem to think it's going to take everything down, so it's going to win all the awards. And I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe that's the best movie. That's the best they got. Did you you mentioned seeing some others a little sooner, but did you happen to catch Jojo Rabbit?
I did not, and
Okay.
I don't know what to think about it, because I've read about it, and other people have seen it and told me, oh, it's great, you gotta see it. And I just, nothing appeals to me. I don't know why, but I can't put myself into a theater to watch it. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am I doing this wrong?
Well, I think like you're having your same opinion like on Parasite, and I watched Jojo Rabbit, and I thought that was the best movie that I saw this year because of the
Really?
subject matter, and what they were putting on there, and the level of difficulty to pull it off without going ham-fisted or being too much where it's like, okay, that's too much. It was just I mean, you know the premise, obviously. Little
Mm.
boy, his best friend's Hitler. I mean, and
I mean, the concept sounds great. It really does.
it was something. And Scarlett Johansson's in there, and I mean, I'll never say a bad word about that actress. She's one of the better ones.
No, she got nominated twice this year. She got nominated
And that's
for that movie,
yeah.
I believe, and also Marriage Story.
Hmm. Yeah, I was watching Marriage Story the other day. I didn't finish it. I didn't make it all the way through. Um,
Oh, it's really good.
got pulled in another direction, and then I was like, oh, I'm gonna go back and like what's happening. I'll finish it eventually, but it was I was enjoying it for sure. I've liked pretty much liked that Adam Driver since day one. Like I've always been a fan.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah.
I am all in on Adam Driver right now, like
Hmm.
completely in. He is fan. I mean, if it wasn't for Joaquin Phoenix, who's definitely going to win for Joker, he Adam Driver would probably be the runaway for the best actor, because he would the way he portrayed his character in that movie was just heartbreaking and sincere, and the whole scene. I don't know if you got to where he was talking with the woman assigned to him by the court, and he cut himself accidentally. Did you get to that part?
I hadn't quite made it there.
Oh man, that's he's incredible, and that entire scene was amazing. But yeah, if it wasn't for Phoenix, then he would definitely get the best actor because he was incredible in that movie.
Right on. Shifting gears to something near and dear to my heart, food. I'm a big fan of pretty much all food. If you had to eat one single food for the remainder, what are you going with?
I mean, the obvious answer has to be pizza, right? There's just so much you can do with pizza. You can have a
Pretty,
different slice every day, and you would never have the
mhm.
same slice twice. So fight me on that. You
No,
can't
no.
beat it.
I've worked pizza jobs, sir. I'm a pizza man. Pizza's
Ditto.
close to my heart. Definitely. I'm with you there on the versatility.
Oh,
But I don't
so
know.
versatile.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, especially if you have alternate sauces, like if you got the white sauce,
Yeah.
that like
Oh, it's
you start mixing that
yeah.
kind of stuff in. Now you're taking it to
Stuffed
the next
crust.
level. So stuffed crust, that's another one. Uh,
What's
Pizza,
what's your
huh?
food? Because you sound like you don't agree with me. What's your food?
You know, I would like to. I mean, I'm struggling myself. I was trying to think of what I was going to say. I
Uh-huh.
mean, cheeseburger and fries, maybe cheeseburger and fries
That
potentially, maybe. I mean,
wow.
that's. But I mean, you might have the best hand with
Mm,
the pizza, honestly, because
there's just so many ways you can go with pizza. I think that's why it's
the
superior.
I guess if I got pasta and I could take any pasta, I might have a fighting chance against the pizza because there's so many different pastas and different things that you can do with the pasta.
So
So I
basically,
might have it,
Italian food is the reign supreme, is what we're saying.
or it's a supreme pizza. Yeah,
Yeah, anything
yeah.
Italian.
Now going into the dark arts, the gambling side of things. Me,
Yeah.
I've pretty much given up on it, except for we do a yearly trip out to Vegas for March Madness. So I usually get a little bit of gambling in there. We bet on the sports. We'll roll the dice. We'll sit down at a blackjack table. I have a hard time playing roulette, but I'll sometimes find myself betting on random numbers and hoping. Uh, how about you?
Gambling plays a big part of my life. I don't know what I did before I gambled for entertainment as an adult. I remember Super Bowls, they'd have the square, where you
Hmm.
pick like score the numbers and then you throw like $5 or $10 in there. God, I can't remember when I first did that, but it's like, oh my God. And then I have a chance to win all the money. Yeah,
Hmm.
I'm in for life. I'm in this for life.
Hmm.
Let's do it.
Hmm.
And so and then when I just did like small little bets here and there, about everything. And then I found a bookie, and then, the rest is kind of history. Well, my first bookie, I remember I was in Austin, and it was a guy that came into where I work frequently. And he started talking to me about gambling, and I was like, yeah, I do it too, side to side. He's like, you got a guy? No? Well, I can be that guy. All right, sold. Let's do it. And then so it would never be big time bets. This guy was a high roller. He put he won 500 on the Cowboys and parlay that with the over. And I'll take Arizona and the first half. Like money was meaningless to him. It was basically monopoly money. And he told me one time, if you ever don't pay, I don't want to say anything, but the guy that I go up next to, as far as like down the hierarchy, I'm not saying he's connected, but he lives in Miami. He has a yacht and a pinky ring. So you do the math on that one. So
Mm.
gotcha. Sounds great. So I got a different bookie, obviously, because I'm not trying to disappear. And yeah, so I had been doing smaller time bets because I don't want to lose everything I have. ever since.
You don't want to lose it all in one shot. You want to have a few bets. You got to make a few bets at least and get those bets
Oh,
in.
but that's the problem though. Is like you can make like 4 or 5 bets, and let's say 3 of them hit, 2 of them don't. Well, you have like a net sum of $10. Let's say, because if it was like each unit was 10 units. But if you parlay it and you hit all 5, then you make upwards of 15, 20 times that initial buy-in. And it always sounds sweet going in, and then it comes back and bites you in the ass every time.
Yeah, the only system I've ever been able to work.
I don't think I'll ever learn.
Yeah, gambling wise, for me, I would. I had one run. I forget what year it was, but I had one run where I turned like maybe $200 into 5,000, where I was betting like.
Oh yeah.
I was betting three games a day.
Mm-hmm.
It could be either a game or an over under. NBA basketball, favorites only, and after the All-Star break. So it was like almost like this time of year or it wasn't last year, but it was a few years ago. And the way I was doing it, I would bet 3 games, and then I would bet a 3-teamer just in case I hit all 3. I want to get a bonus, And so I must have been banging out those parlays, dude. I was killing them, and that's my one big gambling score where I actually turned a little bit of money into a nice sum of cash.
I think that's what I did whenever I had my most success, was betting basketball favorites. It was whenever Golden State, when they won their first title, and they were just killing everybody. When Steph became Steph, and Vegas hadn't caught up with them yet, so it would be Golden State favored by 5 points against like a crappy team like the Bulls, for example, and you're like, oh my God, they're gonna kill them. I'm gonna put a lot of money on this, and of course it would kill them, and you would keep on winning and accumulating, and that I made the most money ever until Vegas finally caught up with how good Golden State was. But yeah, the basketball favorites was a good one.
Yeah. I have a cousin, he runs numbers, and funny story about him. This guy, his name is, well, I guess, his name is man. I'm just gonna leave him out. Never mind. But best not blow up the spot. Just keep him on the down low. But I'll just say he did at one point get caught in the middle of the road, passed out after having a long night of drinking, and he had about $800,000 in his trunk.
$800,000?
Can't make this stuff up. $800,000, and he says that he obviously got arrested, and they took his money and everything, and he said the wrong policeman came to the side of the car. It was like a rookie or something. He didn't know what the deal was. You understand? And he also said that he had 1.2 million on him, and they skimmed the top of it, and only declared 800,000. And then somehow, he didn't even see any time inside. They actually gave him $250,000 back.
So they had no idea, and he had no idea where he got the money?
They had lawyers handling that stuff. I don't know how. I don't know. I guess since he was giving them, $600K, they just looked the other way.
Damn. This is like American Gangster, where the cops would just expect like a little payout every month, just so they keep their mouth shut about the gangsters. Damn.
Yeah. No, that's the guy I usually place my wagers with.
Oh, there you go. There was a guy. I just do it with a friend of mine who also knows like I think Vegas bookies. So he's like right underneath that
Mm.
umbrella, and it's nice. It's I can't blow up my spot because it's still where we were, and I think still here, sports wagering is technically illegal. So we make around it. We do fine. So there's little
Yeah,
loopholes you can always find to make it happen.
yeah, it's definitely interesting. Because other places like they just have, they just have a little off track betting, OTBs. You just walk in
Yeah,
and place of that.
I
Some places,
remember. Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, there's some places where you can't even do like the daily fantasy, and they eliminated online poker too, which I thought would eventually make a comeback, but it just never is coming back, I guess.
Damn, that's so dumb. I mean, if they're perfectly capable of buying as many scratch offs as they want, but they can't do online poker there. It's dumb.
It's dumb, right?
Yeah. If I want to blow my pension on poker, it's my God-given right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me lose my family the way I want to. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the as far as like the legality of it all, because whenever I won big, like I told you with the betting on Golden State, um, I was going through the guy who's had his guy was the pinky ring dude in Miami, and they were using an offshore account to pay off the people when they won. So whenever we won our money, I gambled with my best friend out there in Austin. A package came in the mail, it was like a box, and you tear it into it, peanuts fall out, and there's this little pamphlet that's like stapled together. It just said like schematics of 2014, like the Vegas thing, and then you flip open the little pamphlet and the pages are blank, but in between the pages were money orders for the money that we won gambling. So that's the
Geez.
way that they send it to us, like in the shadiest way possible.
The check's in the mail, as they say.
Yeah, it is. They're a man of their word. But yeah, it did not feel good. It's like I had to like get the package inside quickly in case there's like an undercover cop watching.
That's hilarious. Um, I think last thing I had on the docket here, music. I pretty much listen to Spotify only now. Mostly EDM, electronic dance music. Driving around, I think that's the best music to listen to. Um, what about you? Where you dabble in the music game?
Like I also do the Spotify thing, and I completely ignore the different recommendations that they give you. Like, hey, you should listen to this, Pop's next 100 songs, et cetera, et cetera. I just don't care. I'm gonna listen to the same 5 bands I always listen to, or a
Mm-hmm.
podcast. It's like 90-10 podcasts to music now.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm sleeping,
What?
podcast, driving, podcast.
Oh, yeah. Only really, I only ever really listened to the like the Dan Levitard show. I used to listen to that one quite a bit.
Oh, oh yeah.
They have a podcast. I used to take that one down on regularity. And then the Godfather, obviously. Um, the guy from Boston, Bill Simmons.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He's got good stuff.
quite a bit.
Their his Ringer platform actually
Yeah.
just
Hmm.
got sold to
I
Spotify.
saw that. I
Yeah,
did see that. Yep. Yeah. So we've got some catching up to do, but I think we can. I think we can get there.
yeah, for sure. But
Um.
as far as music goes, like I'm addicted to any like '90s rock. Like that's whenever I became a man in the '90s, could no longer a child, and like the music was playing, Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and every grunge type band I fell in love with. So I still jam to them to this day, but don't listen to new music hardly at all. I'm an old man now. This sucks. At least
Yeah.
I admit it.
Yeah. I mean, you've gotten to the point where you admit it and you're embracing it. So There's
Yeah.
that. You have that going for you. Um, I gotta get out to California or somewhere on the West Coast, I think. Another one of my buddies lives up in the Portland, Oregon area. Um, I'm kind of getting that pull. I have some roots here with the house and everything, so I can't just pick up and leave. But I guess
Yeah, no. Well, you
last
were liking
thing I
LA
had,
though.
yeah,
You being a
how was
Lakers fan and all. Ugh.
yeah, no, yeah. The Lakers, obviously, I think what's going to happen now is LeBron's going to go ahead and take it down this year, probably next year, year after that. He's just going to win
Makes
them
me
all
sick.
for the rest of the time, as long as he has that Anthony Davis sidekick, because
Sickens
they're
me.
pretty formidable. That's a pretty formidable duo. Of duos that have ever been created, it's going to be hard to find one better than LeBron and Anthony Davis. How freaking great is that? So great. Oh my God.
It's so stupid
Oh.
because they're almost created like as far as chemistry goes to be teammates because
Right.
they're both high IQ. Ron James can pass the ball wherever he wants, and whenever whatever AD sets a pick for LeBron, and they're both going downhill, you can't stop it. It's stupid,
Mm-mm.
and I'm very mad that the Lakers have Anthony Davis now.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
mad. Period. I
well,
hate
yeah,
it.
I
I
mean,
hate that they're successful now.
it's just one of those things where when you're one of the most prestigious and successful franchises in the league, it's just a matter of time before you get back up there. If you're just like a flash in a pan like the Spurs, you may never get back. You could never get back. Maybe it's possible.
Flash in the
They
pan, huh?
flash in a pan, in the grand scheme of things,
Wow.
they're little puny little 5 rings. There's nothing compared to the Lakers,
The
16 or
disrespect here
17,
is
18.
palpable.
No.
So much disrespect. I
Yeah,
am
I mean,
disrespected.
they lost that one good player that they ever had, and now they're nothing again. So
Tim
yeah,
Duncan would like a word with you in the hallway, please.
that's what I'm
And he's
talking about. Is Tim Duncan? He's like the only good player that they had, pretty much.
Ginobili, Parker,
That
Kawhi Leonard for a bit
was,
before he became a
that
snake
guy.
in the grass.
I mean, I mean,
All Hall of
I
Famers,
mean,
all of them, every
yeah, I
single
mean,
one.
Hall of Famers, sure, Hall of Famers because of the winning that they did, but they wouldn't have done any of that winning if it wasn't for Tim Duncan.
You could say the same about any team with any amount of players. I mean, you are only as good as your cast, and they always had a very good cast. But 5 rings in
Um,
20 years will do. Should have been 8
yeah,
rings,
no,
but who's counting?
they did have some things, and I mean, the one thing that's incredible about them is they just never really could. They weren't able to go back to back. I don't know what to think about that because there's a lot of teams that win 2 championships in a row, and like even Miami did it, didn't they? Miami even manage to win 2 in a row? I'm pretty sure they
No,
did.
no.
I
I
think they
don't.
beat OKC and then they beat the Spurs. I think.
That's right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I remember that.
I think
One of the reasons
would have
why
been
the Spurs didn't go
3,
back
but
to
they
back.
would have been 3 if it hadn't been for Dirk Nowitzki. That was a strange one. That's if I was going to hold anything against LeBron James, I've always been a big LeBron fan and respected
Yeah, me
LeBron.
too.
But how do you lose to Dirk and the Dirkles? They didn't have a good team. They did not have a good team. Not really.
That
They had
well, I
Dirk.
mean
They had the Dirk.
that's the team that if I'm not mistaken, they beat the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals to get there. And it was a game in which the Spurs should have won, but Ginobili fouled Dirk Nowitzki on a layup. I think that sent the game into overtime, I believe. I'm going to get my facts straight, but that's one of the many different awful things that happened to the Spurs that prevented them from winning back to back. But as far as his legacy, that's always going to stick out for LeBron. The fact that he just disappeared. I don't know what the deal.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll
he's got
never
all
know.
that. I mean, he's probably. I mean, what? I mean, he's definitely. I mean, I can't. I just cannot see him losing this year. Well,
No?
I'm a fan, I'm a fan, so maybe I got my rose-colored glasses on, but I just can't see him losing this year, or next year, or year after that, or
Oh
well,
man,
you know,
I, w- I
they're
wish I
not
had just
not
that confidence in anything I do.
not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. I'm surprised they didn't bring that back when they signed Anthony Davis and did another one of those. That would have been awesome. I would have
Yeah,
loved it.
LeBron James at 43 years old, not 20, not 21, not
Mm,
22.
mm,
I
uh,
hate seeing them succeed. I hate it.
the 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 freakiness about it all is both of them, because of the way that they are structured humanly, are one bad anything away. And last year, obviously LeBron was out for some time, and Anthony Davis has been known to miss some time. So you can never really rule it out because they play so many games. Again, 82
Hmm.
games. Do we really have to? I mean, 82 games. Who
That's a
came up with
lot.
that? That's
I don't
so
know.
many games. Like they were.
It's
How did they come up with that? It's so many.
it makes no sense outside of just 82 games is more money than not 82 games. So
Yeah, but
I there's no way the NBA is going to give away games because that gives away money, and owners don't want to give away money. So we're
yeah,
unless something crazy happened with a change of heart or found a better way of making money, we're stuck at 82 games. But
I don't
I
know.
mean that they got LeBron playing what, like 38 or 39 minutes a night right now. He's 35. You think that's a good idea? Maybe, just maybe, they should maybe save his legs for the playoffs. Like, who cares if they win this game, like, against, like, the Spurs the other night, for example? Do you need LeBron playing all those minutes in the fourth? Does this game
Well,
really matter?
it's the Spurs, so you kind of got to rub their nose in it a little bit. You can't just let this. Got to show the Spurs that they're back to being little baby brother and big brother's back in town.
Just you wait. Just you wait. Pop's going to pull off some amazing. Just you wait. He is a genius. He'll fix this
I
team.
mean, it'll.
Right?
I mean,
Right?
Pop was obviously ahead of his time. He was kind of running and gunning, shooting corner threes before everybody else really realized, wait, we can shoot from that corner and it's worth more because they're so small, like little corner. So he may have something up his sleeve, but in the NBA, stars matter pretty much, and um, I don't know why anyone would want to go play in San Antonio if you could go play in LA or some other
Yeah, no,
boss
no
city.
one wants to play in San Antonio. That's the sad part. And I mean, we
I
got
mean,
LaMarcus Aldridge. That might be San Antonio's biggest free agent acquisition, and even that was met with a woohoo, great. I think every
what's
Spurs fan has grown to hate him over the time. I know I have. There's
really?
no, oh yeah, and I've talked to Jamie about this multiple times. Jamie stands for LaMarcus Aldridge. I can't stand him. But up until this point where everything he does is just 20-foot fadeaways, guy's 6'11" fading away whenever like a two guard's guarding him. If I had a dollar for every time I've seen him do that, but he's shooting
Is
threes now, so that's good. Just like the rest of the NBA, that's
he
the
making
biggest
them?
problem. Yeah, he's already made more
Nice.
threes this year, and we're not even halfway through the year, than he ever has in his career. So,
Don't you think it's kind of
progress, I
funny
guess.
that um, it took him that long to figure out three was more than two?
It's so dumb.
It took
I,
him that long. It took the league that long to figure out, wait a second, we shouldn't be shooting these 25-footers that are worth 2 points. We should move back 2 feet and shoot these shots that are worth 3 points.
dude, LaMarcus Aldridge is the king of that. He'll catch
And
like
you
on a
had the
pick
other
and
guy.
pop. DeRozan.
Right.
This is like I'm gonna like basically this is his offense in a nutshell, where the ball will swing around right from one wing to the next, and they'll eventually find him wide open at the top of the key. There's not a defender 10 feet near him, and he could take his time to set up the perfect three-point shot. Nope, he would take the ball and just dribble straight into the defenders, waiting for him in the paint and hit a brick wall. and then have to kick the ball out or put up a terrible shot, and then the offense just stalls there. It happens 5 times a game, and it's so frustrating to watch because this ain't the 90s anymore. Like, people aren't just you can't just live in the paint or in a mid-range shot anymore. You're gonna get your ass kicked, and that's why the Spurs have a losing record right now, because they still aren't shooting threes like the rest of the NBA.
Well, and the other thing is, I mean, it's easy to say shoot threes because when you have Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant, it's easy to say shoot threes, but you have to have the horses to make them. Otherwise, you end up being like the 76ers were before they got Embiid and Simmons, where they were just chucking up threes, but none of them were going in. They were getting the first pick every year, so it's a little more complicated. And I mean, hopefully, you know, I did hear about the tragedy not tragedies, the tragic circumstances Pop had going on. So I wonder how much longer he's going to be able to keep it up. He's getting kind of tired. You know, once you start having a losing record, I mean, I don't really see him wanting to stick around and rebuild necessarily. I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely is not going to be rebuilding. That's I think the final say he will always have on this roster is that he's not rebuilding. So as long as he's coaching the team, even if they're underperforming or if they're performing exactly as the talent allows them to, they're not going to blow it up. So there's been a lot of rumors that, you know, all of us Spurs fans, like, come on, let's trade DeRozan, trade LaMarcus, let's get some young talent in. We can have a proper rebuild. Otherwise, we're just going to be spinning in mediocrity and then lose these players anyway, because DeRozan, he can opt out next year and become a free agent, and LaMarcus only has one more year after this. So if both of those players left and you got nothing in return, that's a disaster. It's not like we're competing for a championship anyway. I just
you
don't
won't
see
be
the
competing.
point.
They won't be competing for a championship anytime soon. I mean, it's
Anytime
2020.
soon.
I mean, probably earliest 2050 or so they'll be back in it. You know, probably
2050. Oh my God. I mean, we lucked into Tim Duncan, you know, we lucked into Tony Parker and Ginobili. We got those two guys late, and, you know, got Kawhi Leonard and turned him into the best player in the league. So, I mean, the Spurs have the capability. They're very shrewd when it comes to putting together a team. It's just, I don't know. It's just like a waiting game now. So someone's got to pop. Someone's got to become the next Kawhi. And until then, it's gonna be a sub 500 team, while the Mavericks, you know, cross town are great now with Luka, and the Rockets are still competing well. They got James Harden. So I'm really not used to having the worst team in Texas as a Spurs fan. It's really difficult to admit that.
It's been a while, but before Tim Duncan, it was pretty regular. So, you know,
that was before our time.
I mean, that generational talent will do that to you. It kind of spoils you, you know.
It really does. I'm spoiled run.
They won 50 games. How many years was it? They won 50 games, like absurd amount of times in a row. So
I think it was
when
18
that streak,
years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, when that streak ended, I was happy, and I mean, I really don't like those Spurs that much.
But the feeling's mutual, buddy. I really enjoyed. Oh yeah, we've been the thorn in each other's sides like throughout you know, the past 2 decades. You know, I was really enjoying your team sucking for the past 5 years or so. God, that was
those are the dark ages. I don't want to go back there, please. Not remember those.
Those are the beautiful
traumatizing
days.
It was traumatizing. Definitely was.
That's great. Smush Parker.
Smush. They had Kobe still when they had Smush Parker, so they didn't win anything, but they went to the playoffs one time.
I remember the last time that Kobe made the playoffs. I think they got the 8th seed, and the Spurs are the first, because who were pretty dominant for a while there, and
Hmm.
we basically just like bushwhacked it. You got boat raced pretty hard.
Oh yeah,
I think it was a
no, yeah,
sweep,
I
if I'm
know.
not mistaken.
Probably
Yeah,
was.
that was the last time.
Probably was. Probably was. Yeah, yeah. That one is interesting, and when I think about it, like, yeah, you got your Kobe and you got your Tim Duncan, and you put them side by side. It's freaking. I mean, it's about as close to a tie as you can get. Um, Probably
Oh, as
take. I
far as
mean,
like who's the better player,
yeah. I mean, I
I
would hate
think
to
that
say it,
we
but I
would both
mean,
take our own superstars.
yeah, it's tough, man. It's really tough because uh, Kobe was such a freaking force, and Tim Duncan was more of like just like a metronome of consistency, where you knew what you were going to get every night. Every night you're getting that same thing. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
if you were actually building a team, you would be pretty foolish to not take Tim Duncan, even though I'm the biggest Kobe guy there is, because Tim Duncan, you could probably have a bigger margin for error on surrounding him with the right people. Like Kobe, I think um, he's gonna be the man. Obviously, I mean, he was the closest thing to Michael Jordan that we're ever gonna see. He was like a
Yeah.
2.0. He was like a 2.0 version. It's a damn shame that he couldn't freaking make it work against the Detroit Pistons. Then he would have 6 rings. Losing to Boston,
Oh, that
I
was,
can't.
well, so joyous.
That was. I mean, I couldn't.
So that was,
I'm
yeah.
still in shock that they lost that one. Uh, Kobe
So
put up
Boston,
81 in a game.
Boston was.
Oh,
I know. I watched that game. It was ridiculous.
81
Like,
points. I
and
just
that
can't
was.
even.
And the thing about that
Yeah.
game also, it wasn't like it was a blowout,
No,
and it was
no.
just Kobe
They
piling
needed
on.
him.
No, that
Yes,
was,
they needed him.
yeah. Every
Yeah.
point mattered in that game.
Yeah. That was
So
crazy. Um.
I
Yeah. I
remember.
take Kobe.
I've seen
I'm taking
Kobe.
Kobe.
I know you would, you son of a bitch. I saw Kobe play live once. It was his last season, and it was the last time he was going to come into the AT&T Center in San Antonio. And my uncle, he runs this business in Round Rock. They're fortunate enough to be doing very well, and he is a diehard Lakers fan himself. So he bought myself and himself and my other brothers tickets to be like right behind the Spurs bench, so we can watch
Jeez.
Kobe's last game, and it was incredible. You're right there. That was the first time I've never been that close in a sporting
Hmm.
event. But I just saw like Kobe and Coach Pop. They had a long conversation after the game on the court. You could just see the respect and admiration that they had for each other. And I was like, damn, like I'm not gonna get to see Kobe play anymore after this. And I mean, then that was, I mean, was it 4 years ago now? Yeah, that was 4 years ago. And I never thought in a million years that like nobody was gonna get to see Kobe play anymore after,
Oof.
you know. I remember I'm on the way to work in LA. So like I'm at the epicenter of the heartache. I'm on my way to work, and my brother, who's a Lakers fan, texted me. He's like, "Hey, dude, TMZ is saying that Kobe's dead." I'm like, get out of here. So I get on Twitter while I'm sitting on the 405 because the traffic doesn't move. You're stuck there. And I'm
Hmm.
refreshing and refreshing and refreshing. And one by one, new details come out. There's a helicopter crash. Kobe was on it. Not confirmed that he's dead. It is confirmed that he's dead. Now it's confirmed that his daughter also died with him. And I was in shock. I I got to work,
Hmm.
and it was in like an eerie silence, like throughout the entire building. Nobody was talking very much or loudly at all. and you could just hear they were talking about Kobe. Like LA stopped for 24 hours. They
It
lost like their son basically.
Yeah, it hit me pretty hard as well. Shed a few tears, but I mean, he was one of the reasons why I got into basketball, started playing basketball. I was never anywhere near as good as Kobe, but I can't. Yeah, I mean, I was in shock there for a good bit as well. Just like, no more Kobe. That's so terrible. But it did make me, realize one thing. I'll never ever get in a helicopter. I'll just stay away from helicopters forever. Never gonna ride in a never gonna go into a helicopter. One of the guys that I used to play poker with climbed up on the ladder, fell off a ladder while he was putting up Christmas lights. He didn't die from falling off of the ladder, but he went to the hospital and then he died due to some sort of infection. So I'm never going to get on a ladder again, and I'm never going to ride in a helicopter because those two people that I know passed away. And we had a chance to ride in a helicopter when we went on an Alaskan cruise, but the weather was too bad, so we didn't get to do it. So
that's what I heard about with the helicopter. There was a lot of flights with helicopters and other planes that were grounded or weren't allowed to take off because of the inclement weather. I mean, it was a foggy day. I remember on the drive to work, I could barely see 10 feet in front of me. And someone tried to fly a helicopter in this weather? That was nuts to me.
I did hear that they had to get a clearance, and they got the clearance, Like, if you go by the book and you request for a clearance to fly, and I mean, I would hate to think that they got like some sort of special privilege because they, you know what I mean? Like that could be like the reason why they got the clearance. Like, is it okay if we fly here? We've got Kobe, like that kind of thing. Or, I also wondered if they had like, how in airplanes they have like a little black box that kind of tells you what happened, why this crash happened. So I do wonder if they have that kind of technology on a helicopter, or if they're just using like the forensic evidence to determine what the cause was. If it was like a mechanical failure, or maybe it was like a pilot error of some kind, or who knows?
Well,
who knows, man?
It definitely was. I mean, it was the pilot, unfortunately. But I mean, you really can't put too much blame on it. I mean, he missed the landing spot by I think 20 to 30 feet. From what I read. I mean, a professional pilot isn't that bad. I mean, he just didn't have a shot with how the weather was. So I mean, he never should have taken off in the first place.
So you're saying it's a known fact that the pilot was some sort of pilot error?
Well, I mean, he just couldn't see where he was. Like, he overshot everything pretty significantly. And I mean, if you can't see where you are, where you're supposed to land, there's nothing you can do. I mean, the whole thing was just so completely avoidable and sudden. Like, it's just really hard to even like consider it to be a reality. Like, it still doesn't feel real because he was only 41.
No, it really doesn't.
It really
doesn't.
And he was just getting, creating I guess a presence outside of basketball because he won an Academy Award last year.
Yeah.
For sure. The guy, he was spreading his wings and it's gone. It's just tragic. It's just the worst thing in the world. I've never experienced anything. I don't think any of us have experienced anything like it before. We haven't lost somebody that we hold dear to us in their prime tragically like this. But JFK, was that the other one? Like, I don't know. That sucks.
It's not great. I think kind of ending on a somber note there, but did you have any any no, I mean, it's definitely still kind of fresh for me on some level. But I'm going through like my own family is having kind of like a couple of my family members are kind of on the way out there. My grandmother and my mom are both kind of fighting the good fight to stay. But my grandma's kind of withering away. She's lost like 25 pounds like in like 2 weeks. And my mom has got some tumors in her brain and it's not great. So I think part of the reason why I was able to kind of compartmentalize and handle Kobe with a little bit of like, well, I didn't really know the guy and he was just a basketball player because my family's actually going through it. So in terms of final thoughts, any kind of inspirational quote or mantra for your life there, Glenn?
Well, I'm sorry about your family, man.
It's the circle of life,
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
No real mantras. The golden rule. Grew up with that philosophy.
That's hilarious. That's
can't beat that.
That's what I was going to say for sure. I was definitely going golden rule for sure. Treat others the way you want to be treated, man. That's mine for sure, definitely. Yep.
Beat you to it. I'm gonna go ahead and call dibs on that before you can, sir. So we're gonna have to change.
I've already got it. I've already got it on the record with Jamie when we did the podcast. I asked him that same question, and I got it on the record. So I already got it in the first podcast. So you can't beat me to. The game is rigged. I'm the host. I'm the host.
Wait. All right. So what did Jamie say? What did he say his mantra was?
I think you got to listen to the podcast. I don't think I should tell you what he said. I know one of them. He said two of them actually, but I can only remember one of them because it's a good one. Keep getting them checks. That was one of his go-tos. He said something.
That makes sense.
He said something else, but I just can't recall right off the top of my head right now.
A wise gambler once told me never bet on a short-legged horse.
Okay.
And that seemed pretty deep in the moment, so I can probably roll with that. And just don't stop, keep going. You get knocked down, you get up again. Nothing gonna keep you down.
Those are all true there, and I guess we're gonna probably do this again on the 5th of March. What should the listeners kind of expect from your show there, Clint's Corner, as you've dubbed it? Do you have an idea of where you're gonna take us on a journey to?
By then, in March, that's gonna be. March Madness is we're on the cusp of that, and this year it's bananas. There is no favorite. Really,
Mm-hmm.
there's no Duke with Zion. There's no definite chalk way of going about it. So it's gonna be like a no holds bar, crap fest, which makes gambling on it the stupidest thing in the world. Nobody knows anything.
Yeah.
Don't do it. But we're gonna all do it regardless.
Yeah, we're gonna go out to Vegas the 19th to the 22nd. I'm actually trying to get a big group together, see how many people we can get to go. Right now, it's just going to be me and a couple friends. But I created an event on the page on the website there, the sportguyaustin.com. There's an event. You can RSVP if you do want to go. Get on the list. I'm going to get as many people as I can get. I've actually got a guy creating a poster for me. I'm going to go try to do some marketing for the event and see if we can't get a group. I don't know. My stretch goal was like 20, 25 people. That's what I was kind of hoping I could manage to get to. But it's going to be an annual tradition. I'm going to be going out there every year. So hopefully some people will want to join the Sports Guy Austin,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that sounds great, man.
Right on. Well, hey, yeah, thanks for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and shut her down for the night here, and then we'll be in contact for sure. Now that I have your number, I'll be bugging you, blowing you up all the time. Gave me a fake number last time. Give me a fake number.
I had to shake you. Stage 5 clinger.
So